really isn't the same kind of weapon that he was used to in Splat 1. 52 Deco came out today. Unfortunately, we can't use it in this tournament because it came out right in the middle of the tournament. It's kind of not fair to have some people be able to use it and some people not.
Right.
But I'd like to see if he picks that up after this tournament, kind of goes back to like his turf, so to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But we are getting started with Game 1, Clam Blitz on Snapper Canal, a really fun match, map in game mode because all the different ways that you can push in clams and see how these teams can do this, especially with the bubbles that are, of course, going to be coming out of this E-Leader.
Right, and bubbles as well coming out of that heavy deco, and I've seen more Splatlings here than I think I've seen anywhere else. Do you think that's something new, or do you think it's just a preference thing that we've seen from these players?
I think that a lot of the players that are going to come to these lands are going to be a little more dedicated than a lot, so they're going to be invested in things like the heavy deco and such. Now, the heavy has been a pretty solid weapon throughout all of Splatoon 2. It, of course, has gotten buffed lately, especially now with bubbles and how much damage it does. But I think that it just so happens that a lot of people come out to lands are the kind of people that would be dedicated to something harder to play like that.
Speaking of things harder to play, Fuchsia moving around here with the brush, going and getting that double team. Nice pincer attack there on, I believe, the Tri-Slosher. They're working this left side of the map, and you see they've got 17 clams. For those of you unfamiliar with this map, there's this nice little ink rail that Slimy actually just took at the top of your screen, trying to clear it out here so Fuchsia can come in with a 3-down situation. They should be able to get it. Slimy gets mowed down, but they do get the break, and that is, of course, 80 points.
Yeah, of course, that heavy sitting around a corner with a full charge is one of those deadly things you can try to move up against. Right now, more clams going in, got pushed down to 59 points. This heavy is just going to try to stay here, stay alive. But he's going to have bubble for a counter push, and this could be really powerful. Now, of course, they are playing against a double beacon comp with the Octobrush Nouveau and the E-Leader. Actually, Fuchsia was on Twitter kind of asking for team comp ideas, and one of the ideas was like, hey, just go with like old Chimera, use like a bunch of map control specials and beacons. So every time you push up, you have beacons for like the jump back in. But right now, we do have a little bit of a more settled down situation. Looks like those bubbles actually have been used and not too much has come with them, so we're going to see a neutral situation until some specials get built here.
Absolutely. You talked about it earlier, Matt moving up there trying to make something happen. Another 3-down situation. I'm loving the movement that we're seeing here from Quasar's and that they're recognizing that Squirtle Squad is kind of filtering in a little bit, kind of going one, and they're crashing in on that middle zone. When you have control of both sides like this team has had right now, it's so easy to crash into that narrow mid, and I love the way that they're playing around the map at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a big part of this game mode is figuring out how to get around this kind of like circular choke point where you have to get around this perch area. Fuchsia getting out of there at the last second and possibly getting this kill right here in mid. She does. So really good of her to get that revenge kill, as she's unfortunately sort of getting pincered. She does have a brush, so she does have the ability to get away from this if she needs to, but it looks like she might not do it. She puts a football in. Oh, but gets blocked by the wall.
Got what she came for there, but that was, I almost thought that was a great move, getting right past that wall, but then running right back into it on the other end. I guess the wall did its job. Coming back up here again, this is an interesting matchup. We haven't really talked about Sniper versus Splatling in this game because we just don't see it a lot. That's got to be terrifying for both of them if they're, I mean, just whichever one has the better position.
Yeah, in Splat 1, Splatling versus Sniper was definitely almost always in the Sniper's favor. That was one of the reasons why Splatlings weren't as common during the early days of Splat 1. In Splat 2, I think it's about even. The particular matchup between a Sniper and a Splatling fighting each other, the Sniper has a very large advantage, but Splatlings tend to be more useful for a team overall. So it kind of comes down to how the weapons actually play against versus each other. Can the Sniper keep the Splatling in check to make sure his teammates can push up? Because with those kind of both longer range weapons, it tends to kind of even out as opposed to 4 shooters versus a charger. But right now, another push is happening down to 49 points. And something to note here is up until this point, the score meter has been low enough so that just throwing in a football still gets points and doesn't make a penalty that's more than 20. But right now, we're to a point where if this does not end with this push, basically only knockouts are going to like end the game for Yellow Team. But you know, Squirtle Squad is going to have to put in a lot of pressure in the next minute and a half right now. They haven't been able to really get anything going. Hello Kitty over here maybe will pick up no, it looks like she's going to leave the football for her teammates, so hopefully they're able to kind of get something going here and get a push going in the next minute, because they're going to have to put on a lot of pressure if they want to build up this deficit.
And see, I like what Hello Kitty did there, going to right to try to help out the dualies that were up there, recognizing that there were 2. Fuchsia was still a little bit far, but it looked like Hello Kitty hesitated, and as a result, the shooter went down in that situation because it didn't quite commit going in all the way. And that's one of those things that you see the good teams who are a little bit more experienced, a little bit more coordinated with their callouts do, is crash in, because that was a situation where they could have gotten the kill. And
Slimy!
Waves to the crowd, but getting an advantage for yourself oftentimes does come from the pincers that you earn, and I feel like that was an opportunity there. So if you're looking for a way to get back in, I think that's a good way to do it. Look at Matt, look at Matt go. Look at him go. Look at him go.
The aggressive E-Leader, is he going to get the bubble pop to get the kill here? He does! All right, all they got to do is take out this Tri-Slasher, and they're going to be looking home for. Actually, there is a dually nearby. Can he get the dually? He can.
That's even though Sniper has been nerfed, that sound is no less satisfying in this game than it was in the first one.
I mean, the Pachinko is probably one of the most satisfying hit marker sound effects that I've ever seen in a game. Right now, Slimy just kind of camping here. He has the splash down, so if he does get rushed here, he will be able to keep himself alive in order to kind of get the timer to stall out. Now, there is a football still left in play that has been taken out, so Squirtle Squad is going to have to pick up this particular football and get it in very soon. But no, unfortunately, the Tri-Slashers get taken down. It's a 1v4 situation. I don't think this is going to happen, and that is going to be the end of game one.
Absolutely. Talked earlier about pincering people and moving back and forth. You saw whether it was Fuchsia that time or Slimy pivoting back and forth. The three frontliners here that you see on Quasar's Not Dead were doing a great job of pivoting about that map and picking people off one by one. Means a lot of easy kills. Slimy there, 17 KA, doing his job. And Matt showing us a little hype there. Hey, E-Leader can still be fun to watch, no doubt.
Yeah, no, especially when you have an E-Leader like that just kind of
willing to
goes
go in.
I mean, like we talked about, that's kind of you kind of have to do stuff like that with some of the lower tier weapons in this game. You just have to just do it, and Matt definitely is just doing it. Now it looks like Swiney's calling over Irek. I'm not sure if there might be some kind of technical difficulty or something like that to sort out. We'll know what's going on very soon. And that's not Irek, actually. That's Hermes, but whatever.
Never admit your mistake. Come on. Splat Zone's on Port Mackerel. One of the most changed maps from Splatoon 1.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all know that by now. So it's one of the, I feel like a lot of really exciting zone matches happen here, or it becomes one of the easiest 100-0 shutouts. And I never see anything in between.
You know, compared to Port Mackerel and Splat 1, the thing about Port Mackerel and Splat 1 was that the way the map was designed, it was really hard to get out of your base, but the middle of the map was super maneuverable. So what would happen is you had this kind of persistent neutral game that was happening in the middle of the map where it was really hard to actually get a full commit through. But if you ever got that full wipe and got zone, it was very easy to just kind of post up and stop the enemy from coming out of their base. Now, in Splat 2, the map has been designed to offer a lot more ways out of your base so that those kind of camping situations don't happen. But the difference is that now it's a 2-zone map. So even though you can get out of your base more easily, in order to actually get to the objective takes a little bit longer. So that's why you see that on Port Mackerel zones in Splat 2, we do kind of have more situations where it's hard to, kind of take back the zone. But it does happen more than Splat 1, and the matches tend to be a bit more exciting. Now, something that we unfortunately, again, we're not seeing is 52 Deco, which is probably going to destroy this map.
Probably.
Especially on tower control. And for those who don't know what 52 Deco gets, it gets Curling Bomb and Stingray. And basically, Curling Bombs can be constantly spammed down the lanes on this map to build a ton of meter. And Stingray is amazing on this map because it's generally flat. There's not that many places to climb up. So when Stingrays start going off, they usually get kills. So 52 Decos are going to be a huge nuisance here. Especially special charge, sub-saver, kind of special saver builds. Where,
yeah, you had one last night that you talked about.
Yeah, so basically the way I think that 52 Deco should be played in general in this game is to run special saver. So what you do is you get really aggressive. You don't worry about your special holding you back. When you finally die, you respawn, you just throw a Curling Bomb, it gets you Stingray, and then you Stingray into your teammates pushing tower or whatever. It works on things like Slashing Machine, Nike already runs something similar like that. And on 52 Deco, it's just going to be even better. So, please save us, Nintendo.
Please. Seeing a Carbon Roller here, not something that we see a lot, of course, the comparisons between 1 and 2. Carbon Roller, not the mighty beast that it once was. But that's another thing that I've seen a little bit more here at this lane. It does have the auto bombs. It does have the Ink Storm. Of course, the Ink Storm.
It's pretty good on this map.
Yeah, it is,
honestly.
for sure. The Ink Storm not as popular as it used to be. But here we see Veil coming in as well. So Hello Kitty actually switched off of the Tri-Slosher that time, and Veil switches over to it. So I guess they've got a few people comfortable playing this weapon. Slimy going to go in and Baller here. Moves away from that engagement, takes the zone, lets his teammates come in and do the cleanup work there, knowing that they were there. Pretty good move. Another Baller coming back in. Hello Kitty trying to rush the zone right there, but one Carbon Roller by itself isn't going to do a whole lot, and they've got to be careful here. They can't get picked off, but Hello Kitty shutting it down, saying, what are you talking about? I'm going to be the one doing the shutting down, and already close to an Ink Storm, a much better looking game from them.
Yeah, Carbon Roller definitely kind of gets over its range deficit on this map because it always has corners to camp around. The auto bombs will track people around boxes, and then the Ink Storm is so good for situations like this. So really good choice of weapon. A really good choice expensive map if you are going to use Carbon Roller on something. Slimy right here getting the cleanup right now. It is a 1v3 situation. They need to be a little bit careful. Slimy using the ball to try to protect a teammate. Will it get the Carbon Roller? It will not, but at least he keeps his teammate alive as his other teammate spawn. NZAP is going down on the other team. There is a missiles at the ready, so I expect to see a special push right now. They do lose the lead. They will have to make another push to try to win the game off of this, but I think they'll be fine. Fuchsia right here pushing up into zone. Unfortunately taken out as Squirtle Squad still is holding the zone right now. Just a bloodbath in the center of the map right now.
Double slosher. We're seeing it here, and it's actually not a slosher machine. I've seen a lot of slosher deco here. I know Mullen talked about with the new mobility that it got in the most recent buff, that range. Don't underestimate it. It's not a sloshing machine, but hey, it doesn't have to be a sloshing machine. Like you said, they're coming back in now. They're trying to mount something here on the right. Cleaning that up is Slimy.
Nice.
Hello Kitty kind of stuck in there. Need to call out that the Carbon Roller's over there. It looks like the Carbon Roller does get taken down. Fuchsia now pivoting back over to the left. Matt sitting up top. Now the question is, how will they get back in? They have the ink armor, and they're going to be able to chain the second ink armor. Might have been just a touch early there from when the previous one came in. Vale's going to run in and try to make something happen, but they've already backed up.
Does a kill.
Fights through Swanee, pushes back Matt. The lead is gone, but they have a chance to make something happen here.
Will Matt be able to tap shot this Tri-Slash in the background? It looks like no one has died. Okay, so, but the timer is clicking down and missiles have just gone off. Someone is marked. This is going to be really difficult for Squirtle Squad to be able to take the zone. Arma goes down. Carbon trying to push up a Tri-Slasher in zone. Fuchsia getting over here to try to prevent it from happening, and she does. So that is going to be 2 up for Quasar's Not Dead.
Yeah, that time, much better looking game from Squirtle Squad, really playing to the advantages of the map, like you talked about with the Carbon Roller. And the double slosher comp was putting in work there for a little while, but I think they just got a little bit too overzealous going in and trying to make that kill, trying to make that play, and then getting swept up once again. Great movement by all the members of Quasar's Not Dead. And it's kind of this like amoeba that's able to move around and kind of create pincers, not unintentionally, but it's like they didn't set it up, but the situation presented itself, so they went and took advantage of it. Yeah, I mean, we saw kind of a good lockout from Squirtle Squad at the kind of like at the midway point of that match. But when they were locked out, there was a little bit of miscoordination. I think that they were really pressured by Quasar's Not Dead and were forced to kind of pop some specials at inopportune times, and they did it in a way that didn't really quite let them get back to the zone. We saw them pushing up, and we saw them making the correct type of effort. It just wasn't perfect enough, basically. So that ended up costing them game 2. As we go into game 3, which is going to be Tower Control Mako Mart. Ooh, Tower Control Mako Mart. This is a fun one, and this is also a map where sloshes are good, so I expect to see more of that. Sloshes and blasters is really good on this map in general because of the kind of verticality where you have to drop down off of a box, reminiscent of Museum and Splat 1. Yeah, that's what you guys remember. Yeah, sloshers and blasters are so good on that map, and chargers too. It's actually kind of funny how much like that map Mako Mart has turned out to play in the end. So we're definitely going to see a lot more slosher action. So for you guys that like sloshers, you're going to see some more of that. I can see right now Slimy is actually switching back to splatter shot, so I'm a liar. But it looks like there actually might be some technical problems. I think he's asking, is he asking Gingerbread Man for help? Do we have double coaching? Double coaching. Oh. Slimy's busy cheating. He's trying to explain himself to me, but I can't hear him, so as far as I'm concerned, he's doing something wrong. Yep. But it looks like whatever it was got sorted out. I think there was some audio issues on that particular setup yesterday, and we replaced some equipment, so hopefully that is not the case. But it looks like everything's fine, everything's locked in. We are going into game 3, so let's see how much of these slosher, blaster, splash damage weapons end up coming into play, and how much the E-Leader's bubbles end up coming into play as well. Yeah, the bubbles here, if you set up on a common call-out there is melons, you can see there. Those boxes, they do have melon logos on them. It's not just something we made up. But if you get set up on that mark with Luna. Oh, Luna. Oh, I like that. And I like the sloshing machine here, too. But if you get set up on those melons with a long-range weapon, you can really kind of facilitate an entire push all the way to that second checkpoint just because it moves around that side and you can have a good viewpoint, vantage point over all of it. Yeah, now right now it looks like Slime is actually going to be splatter shot instead of a slosher. Now, one thing that is worth noting that the Octobrush on this map can definitely do the job of a slosher. If you get a little bit of high ground and you start hitting that trigger, you're going to put a lot of hitboxes all over the place. The Octobrush has a ton of range when it has the high ground.
So if we get to see some of that play. Hello Kitty going with Carbon Roller here again. Not quite sure of that choice, although she does have a lot of splash damage on her team and a painting weapon, so if she can get set up, she will be in a really good position to do some pretty cheap work on this map. Unfortunately, Matt gets taken off of tower right now, as it looks like Squirtle Squad is going to be able to stop this push. However, Slimy is camping right here, gets the punish on the preemptive Stingray. Another teammate of Squirtle Squad going down, so this is going to be a continued push for Quasar is not dead.
Absolutely. Moving back up here, just pivoting around, trying to aid Fuchsia. Fuchsia going to continue to be a threat right here.
Nice.
And Punish is going in, but there wasn't even an option to go up to boxes there because that's the position that Slimy had took. Now Fuchsia going to continue to live back here. The bomb going to be just enough that time. The slosh machine, of course, making things difficult as well. But that was mid. Wow, the Luna does that so well. You think that you're going to miss the shot, but that burst damage does just enough. Now chasing Matt off, going to come back here, get the punish on the tower. Does a decent job cleaning up. If they're able to take out Fuchsia here, they might be able to take back some mid, but Fuchsia does, as brushes do,
nice.
Come back and get the punish. And the pressure's still not off. I know it's moving back to mid, but this map is so purple.
Yeah, this map is very purple right now. The ability to have 2 shooters and a brush versus that other comp is going to offer a lot of paint control for Quasar is not dead. Now it looks like Squirtle Squad is starting to push back up. There has been a trade, an effective trade. Now there's 2 members of Squirtle Squad down. This is not looking good. At least the painting weapon is still alive and a splash damage weapon, but they're going to need to put something together to keep themselves alive until their teammates show up, which needs to be happening. Unfortunately, one going down, so it's a 4v2 situation. There are specials at the ready for Quasar's not dead. Armor goes down. I think missiles go down as well, so this is going to be start of another big push.
I love the way, so Swanee was over on the right, working on right box there. Once he saw that there was nobody there and that the pressure was coming on the left, pivoted back and got the punish that Fuchsia had kind of set up by sharking around that whole area. But that's going to be a full wipe as a result of all that. That rain goes down. They're going to walk this to the checkpoint. They're going to have to make a play pretty quick, and I don't think Hello Kitty's going to get there in time. They're past this checkpoint. Swanee still sitting on the tower. Slimy is now back in spawn. This one's going to walk to the final checkpoint. Slimy continuing to do what he does, all the way gone. The doors have been battered down, and a quick 3-0 for Quasar is not dead, and the best looking game I think they played.
Yeah, that was a really convincing, really effective push. Basically, something that happens in Splatoon is that if you get a wipe or almost a wipe, and you follow it up with another wipe or almost a wipe, you get like a really good guaranteed push. And Quasar's Not Dead was able to turn that into a knockout, which is really good of them, especially with like Slimy pushing up and those specials going down. Definitely a really good display by them. So they are looking to have some momentum going with them into their next match. Of course, this is Swiss, so they will play another team that has just won, which means that their next match will be more difficult. And then the same for Squirtle Squad. Their next match will be against a team that has just lost. So basically, Swiss is going to force teams that are performing similar to fight each other. So as we go on, we'll see closer and closer matches.
Yeah, and that's really Swiss. I know a lot of people, Swiss has its detractors because it can take a while because you don't get a set schedule ahead of time. You have to kind of play it by ear. But the aim of it is to get really good matches all the time.
Yeah.
People of similar skill levels. And at a LAN environment like this where we can do things like that, it really, really shows its stuff. We saw a lot of great matches yesterday on all rounds of the pool between teams that we may not be familiar with, but hey, teams that are close in skill, always going to put on a show.
And you know, I think that also Swiss works a lot better in a LAN environment than it does online. One of the big problems with Swiss, one of the things that are required with Swiss is that all teams have to keep playing in order to actually figure out the proper statistics. In online environments, if a team drops, the whole entire thing gets a big wrench thrown in it because like, do you like give a bunch of free wins to some teams? Do you take away points from a bunch of teams? I remember we tried Swiss in early Splat 1, and that constantly happened where teams dropping would mess up the results, and you couldn't get like a clear top cut to go on. So, but in LAN environments, you know, we're all here. Yeah, and we don't have to worry about that. So it's really nice that we get to utilize Swiss to get some good matches for a lot of teams.
Absolutely. Speaking of good matches, you can't see this now, but a good 20 or so people have been gathered around one of our other setups over there. Probably a pretty hype match going on there. And that's the other thing, because this is Swiss, because these are, and especially here with Bronze, you know, all these are teams that couldn't quite measure up, but should all be within the same echelon. Yeah. It should be great matches all the way throughout. So I'm not sure what the two teams are on Station 2, but that's really good. Like, I'm not kidding, man. There's probably like 20 people.
Yeah, now there's more people gathered around because we're talking about it, but now I can't see anything.
Hey,
but yeah, well, another thing is that these Bronze brackets have been generated by another Swiss bracket. So basically that kind of like automatic matchmaking system is at play to have matches like this and the one that we just saw. And I mean, the one that we just saw, even though Quasar's Not Dead, you know, it was a pretty convincing victory. That was not they were not out of each other's league.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So
there were opportunities. You could pick out the missed opportunities that could have sent it the other way.
Exactly.
When you get two really imbalanced teams, it's like the opportunities just never show themselves.
Yeah,
there were
exactly.
opportunities there.
Yeah. So, and of course, you play some matches, you make some adjustments. That's kind of how it works. So
Yep.
they're gonna make those adjustments going through the next matches. So we do need to wait for this match to finish in order to get to the next round. So I think, Carter, you want to take us a little break?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we are going to go on for a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get some more bronze matches coming your way.